Today we're at Little Moreton Hall, the wonky house. But as this is my first video, I think it's only right that I should give you a little insight into the animations around. So, over to me.
Hi, I'm Jules. I'm an artist and designer based in Staffordshire. I would love for you to join me on my inspirational travels to historic sites, woodlands, gardens and places of outstanding natural beauty to create a portfolio of images that you can use for your own art and design. If, like me, you love nature, then please think about clicking and subscribing to my channel, and let's go and find some inspiration.
This is the impressive wonky house of Little Moreton Hall. It's a moated manor house. It's 500 years old and it's beautiful. And we're going to go inside and have a look.
We've entered the courtyard here, about to enter the Great Hall. This is Andy, by the way, my husband, who will come with me on all my journeys. So we're going to have a look inside now and see what we can find. I suppose we should say a little bit about the Mortons here. They were powerful landlords from the 13th century. The Mortons probably increased their wealth following disasters, both natural and man-made, by buying up land thrown onto the market after the Black Death of 1348 and during the dissolution of the monasteries. It was an acquisition policy that paid off. By the mid-16th century, the Mortons were in control of some 550 hectares of land. It was mainly the income of this estate that allowed them to build Little Moreton Hall more or less continuously for over 100 years, expanding and improving it from the early 16th century right up to the Civil War of 1642. By then the house as we know it was intact, but its development was called to an abrupt halt. The Mortons backed the Royalists during the war, and their loyalty to the Crown under a punitive Parliament government marked the start of the Hall's slow 250-year decline. Yet, as we shall see, the war didn't quite spell the end of the Mortons, dealing with a home that can befuddle as much as it bedazzles.
Another toilet. Well, at least there's plenty of places to go. Well, there's no glass in this. I'm assuming that helps when you've got a toilet.
The Tudors were great believers in evil spirits and witchcraft, and so this house has hundreds of witch marks, which are little burning parts that are all through the house. We'll be taking a look for these a little later to see if we can find these burn marks. We're about to go into the long gallery now, perched precariously on top of the first floor. It's the long gallery that gives this house so much of its character. Yet for all its dramatic shape and size, the long gallery has almost been Little Moreton's downfall, as it has led to major structural problems and repairs that generations of Moretons have struggled to contain.
It's from a distance because it's not flat at all. Just look at the ceiling in here, it's just amazing.
Most timber-framed houses are built one floor at a time, with the ceiling of one forming the floor of the other. So the long gallery should have been positioned directly over the frame underneath, but it's much narrower. It has no direct support, and to make matters worse, the roof is covered with enormously heavy gritstone slabs. Hence, that's why we have an issue with the wonkiness of the hall, simply because there was no support for this hall. If you just look at this fireplace here, you would think it was really wonky, but actually it's the walls that are wonky. The fire is perfectly straight.
Tudor graffiti.
A lot of marks here.
Lots of little marks.
Yeah,
We've got the burn marks. Oh, those are the burn marks.
So you can see how deep they are.
Yes, they're so deep. Yeah.
But then a couple of experimental archaeologists, whose name I've forgotten, did some research and they tried to replicate them. So if you leave a candle burning right next to the wood, it won't touch it.
branded in they are.
Branded,
Yes,
yes.
you need one of these, and you need to do that for quite a long time. I think it's 10 minutes to burn away 2 millimetres of wood. Some of them they can see when they've looked at them with a magnifying glass, they've been burnt, scraped out. There's another one there, there's another one there.
Well, that was the inside of Little Moreton Hall. Now we're going to have a look on the outside. I'm not expecting to see a great deal as it's early March. There'll be nothing about, and it isn't a place that's full of flowers and beautiful things. But look, they've got a knot garden and they've got, I think, herb gardens. So we'll have a look what they've got. We've got moorhens.
Oh, cute, so orange.
I think the moorhens, what they are. Right. Oh, hello. Look who we have here then. Mr. and Mrs. Mallard. Aren't you lovely? You're incredibly beautiful. Aren't you? Oh, and yeah. Oh, my two Mr. and Mrs.
The reason we wanted to come to St Mary's, but unfortunately it's shut so we can't see inside it, but it was originally a 12th century building and some parts of that 12th century do survive. Most of the work was done in the 13th century, which does survive to this day, but we can't obviously see that. The interesting thing is the yew trees as well that are outside, that there's one that's 2,000 years old. So obviously there was a lot of activity on this site before the church was here. It's also got in this, in the Lady Chapel is a 13th century seat and a geometric Gothic style. Perhaps more fascinating than the interior stands the historic feature, which is an ornate canopied tomb. Opinion seems to vary how old the tomb is. It may be late 13th century and be a memorial to the member of the Venables family, or it may be a 14th century to commemorate Sir Ralph Brereton. The tomb chest has effigies of a man and a woman holding hands. There is another ancient effigy to the north of the canopied tomb, showing a cleric, and to the south is a third medieval effigy of a knight in armour. That is why we wanted to come and see it before we went home.
Well, that's the end of our little trip to Little Moreton Hall and our stop off at Asbury here. I think we've had a nice morning. Yeah.
Certainly have.
Yeah. We're off now to other pastures new. Thank you for watching this, and hopefully you've enjoyed what we've seen. Even though it's early March and it's cold and there isn't a great deal out to see, I'm hoping that we'll see a little bit more in our next video. But for now, thank you, and I'll see you back in the studio. Bye. Hi, and welcome back to my little studio. Little Moreton Hall, what can I say about it? It was beautiful. A lovely little building with so much character, so much wonkiness. It's certainly worth a visit. The outside was rather disappointing. There wasn't much in the way of grounds to it. And also with it being March, of course, there was nothing really out of which to paint. So I haven't got anything to paint from this video. Hopefully future ones will provide, when the weather picks up a little bit, will provide something a little better to paint. In the meantime, I'll tell you what I generally do. I don't very often do full paintings, although sometimes you just have to when you see something that's really inspirational. I usually generally collect small images like plants or animals or small rocks, even anything that's just a little bit different that I could actually put together and create a scene from. So I could do like an animal with different plants that I've collected and painted over the time. It just brings it uniqueness. It doesn't have to be anything that complicated, really. Then I usually use sublimation with some of the items. I'll put them on Photoshop and use sublimation printing to print on objects. So that's what I like to collect. And so that is, you see, those are blossom. I want the bee on apple blossom. Those I did last year, I think, when we actually had blossom yet. I like doing the blossom. It was lovely to shrink down. I do everything larger than life because when it shrinks down, it just becomes more crisp and clear. I did also some butterflies. The butterflies, those are again shrunk down and used. It's just like collecting a portfolio essentially of items of your work. And then there's
birds. There, which are blue tits, and got finches. And what I've done with these particular ones, I did ones earlier. I did wrapping paper and sent off and had them done on that. I've also been supplementing on my own mugs. So I've got things like mushrooms that are again collected and painted, and these are the birds. You've just seen that. You can probably just see just about on there that I did on a piece of wood that I painted, and that's the blossom. But I obviously darkened it a little bit and put some different butterflies on there. I think there's loads more. I mean, you can check out my Etsy site on Wildside Art and Design at Etsy, so you can have a look at the rest of them that are on there, and hopefully I'll add some more to them as we go ahead in the future. So for today, I just want to thank you all for watching and for bearing with me on my first video. Also, I would love to in the future, if we have enough people interested, if you like where we go and you feel inspired to paint from images that you've seen from my walks or anything, please send them to me and I will feature them on a gallery at the end of the painting videos. So thank you again for watching, and hopefully see you in the next video. Bye.